I was reading this morning in Matthew 14, and do you remember the story when the waves were, Jesus shooed the crowd away, he sent the disciples on across the lake, and anyways, all the winds came and the waves came, and then Jesus came walking and freaked them out. And anyways, they're saying it's a ghost. It's Matthew 14, by the way, verse 27. And they cried out in fear, but immediately Jesus spoke to them, "Take courage, it is I, do not be afraid." And Peter said to him, "Lord, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water." And he said, "Come." And Peter got out of the boat and walked on the water and came towards Jesus. But seeing the wind, he became frightened, began to sink, and he cried out, "Lord, save me." Immediately Jesus stretched out his hand, took hold of him, and said to him, "You have little faith, why did you doubt?" And when they got in the boat, the wind stopped, and they said, "Certainly you are God's Son." Now, just a little point in that. How many of you are in a storm of life? Now, you see what happened here. Jesus was already in the storm, but they didn't recognize him. And whatever you're going through right now, Jesus is there. But what we need is a spirit of revelation to see him in the midst of that storm. And to see what he said here, he says, "It is I, do not be afraid." So Peter said, "Well, Lord, if that's you, command me to come." Now, did Jesus say, "Well, not until you sign up for gift offer of $943, or not until you've taken the 3-week course"? What did he say? Come. One word. That's it. Breakthrough right in the moment. And so he came. And it's interesting, like when Peter, he gets some knocks. Somebody said he's the only person that's ever been personally rebuked by each person of the Godhead. And that's why we love him. But he was willing to get out of the boat. And interestingly, look what Jesus said. When he got afraid and he cried, "Lord, save me," Jesus stretched out his hand, took hold of him and said, "Well, you have little faith, why did you doubt?" Jesus wanted him to have a supernatural experience. Jesus wanted him to walk in the supernatural. And so whoever came for healing tonight, for healing prayer, what were you looking for? A supernatural experience where God touches you. For broken hearts, a supernatural experience where Jesus comes and gets right down into that stuff. And that's what God wants for every one of us, to walk in the supernatural. And we live in Western rational society where we got heads this big and we got hearts this big. But God wants to reverse that. Big hearts that are in tune with his Spirit, and little heads where there's not a lot of room left for pride, where we can walk in humility. And so whatever you're struggling with, is a lack of wisdom, God wants to give you supernatural wisdom. Is a lack of finance, God wants to supernaturally provide for finance, just like Sharon shared tonight. Is it a broken heart? God wants to supernaturally heal that broken heart. And he simply says, "Come, come."